Well, hello there. Hello and welcome, everybody. I wasn't too sure what was going on then. My computer froze for quite a bit then. But that's just the way it goes, I suppose. These things happen. Good evening. I'm glad that we've got 40 people already in the house ready to watch. I think Jaren's still going as well, and perhaps Nathan Oakley too. So it's actually really good that 40 have just decided to tune in already. I'm sure we're going to get many more by the time that this is all finished. So, to let you know what's going to happen this evening, so we've got the coronavirus discussion that we're going to be talking about for the next hour or so. Then I'm going to round that show up and I'm going to start a chit-chat, a flat earth chit-chat. So, it's not all doom and gloom, so to speak. I don't want you to go into bed terrified, so to speak. That isn't the point of this. This is the point. This is an awareness stream. And we are joined by Paige. Paige, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. G'day, Ranty. Hi, everyone in chat. Hope everyone's well.
Right, so we've got a few people in, actually. We've got Delano Getson, Alex Han, AJ&M, Amanda Young, Colin Dresser. Woohoo! Nice to see you in, mate. Cleary, so many people. Storm Williams. Oh, the list is endless. I can't tell it. Shout out everybody. Cleary, nice to see you in. Everybody's talking, which is great. Ryan Etherton, Ian Adams, Ali B, nice to see you in. SE Montreal, Rude Earther. I think Rude Earther's coming on the show, the second show that will be starting in a little over an hour's time. And he's got something special for you guys, he really has. Really good work that he's doing right now. So that's all I'm going to say. I'll let him explain more when he actually decides to come on the show, which will be in about an hour, just over an hour's time. So, Paige, let's get into this. How's things with you?
Yeah, things aren't too bad around here. We've had some announcements made by our Prime Minister, and I think the latest thing this morning was somebody from Iran, a lady from Iran, had gotten off a plane here, and yesterday, I think, and now today has been diagnosed with the virus. So even though we didn't have any community spread up until now, we had like 20 people, but they all came from either Wuhan or that Diamond Princess cruise ship thing. This lady might be the beginning of community spread here because she had no mask on or anything when she was on the plane. So that would be a really good way to start it over here.
Oh, I'm just having a little bit of fun. I've got to try and make it a little bit lighthearted, you know?
You do. I mean, otherwise you just want to, crawl into bed and pull the covers over your head and, never come out again. But we can't do that, so you've got to make light of it where you can.
That's it. It's time to take the head out of our asses, so to speak, and admit what the hell's actually going on. Because I think a lot of people are they don't want it to be true, and for whatever reason, they're not wanting to look into this. I can't fathom it myself. I really can't fathom it. Cleary says I'm hilarious. Thank you very much.
Ryan said he's under the covers now.
So,
do you watch High Impact Flicks? The guy from High Impact Flicks?
No, I don't know. Can't say I do.
He's got like 500,000 subs. He does a lot of videos on police, like police brutality and the sort of sovereign citizen stuff that I look into. And he put out a video yesterday, I think, and saying basically the same thing that we've been saying for the last month, that it doesn't matter what the virus is, that something is happening, things are being shut down, people are dying. And do you want to be, waiting till the last minute and then having to fight everybody for the last loaf of bread on the shelves? So,
yeah, I remember. Sorry, go ahead, babe.
No, you're right. You go.
So I remember last week, before the stock market, crashed. I mean, I'm only responding to Ian Adams here, who says that the shares have gone down now. Indeed, and it was last week that I was telling this was going to happen, not this week when it actually happened, but last week. And I was advising you, you know, I'm not a financial advisor by any means, but I did say to you, look, you know, it might be better to just go and buy some gold, you know, take your money out of the banks, because there's going to be a financial impact with what's going on in China, the fact they're not being able to get the goods out. That's going to have a knock-on effect with industry worldwide. That's going to have a knock-on effect with services, people buying stuff, commerce. It's literally going to affect everything. I was saying this a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, and lo and behold, this week, the arse has fallen out of the stock market. I don't want to say this isn't a gloating stream by any means, but if anybody saw that and then sees what's happened this week, they might put two and two together and think, well, okay, well, he was talking about this. Maybe he's right about something else.
Yeah, maybe, just maybe. And the thing is, what I think they're worried about is that even if it's only a 3% fatality rate, even if it's not, you know, not any worse than a flu or whatever, what they're saying is that it's so contagious that if, you know, 60 to 80% of the population come down with it, you're looking at an absolutely enormous amount of people at 3%. You know, even at 1%, you're looking at, you know, hundreds of millions of people. So, you know, when people can't go to work and things, all those, you know, backed up shipping containers and stuff aren't being delivered, and, you know, everyone's sick because you've either got the flu and you're in bed with a fever, and, you know, you might not be dying, but you're too sick to go to work.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and if we've got 60 to 80% of the population too sick to go to work for a couple of weeks, you know, I just think it's silly to run the risk of needing to run out at the last minute and get supplies when, you know, you're getting warned now. And if nothing happens, if nothing touches your area, then, you know, no worries. Just use the food over the next few months or the next year or so, and it'll cost you less every time you go shopping, you know, for the next year.
Exactly.
You're no worse off.
Exactly. So I've got a few things up just from today. Now, let me see if I can find that, actually. Let me see if I can bring this up. So just bear with me, actually. I meant to actually have this ready. Desktop. I think it was in there. Where did I see it? Ah, there we go. So, right, there's a reason why people have been asking me, why aren't you showing these videos that you say where you see people that are ill or people that are dying and stuff like this? Well, I did actually do that. I did actually do a stream maybe a week and a half ago, where I had a selection of videos just from I think a 24-hour period. So it wasn't like I was showing all the stuff. I was just saying, look, this is some of the videos that you can check for yourself. I put an hour's video together. I edited it and I released it and I live streamed it. And from that, I actually got somebody flagging the video. So this is the. I took a screenshot of this. So I'm just going to read what it says. As you may know, our community guidelines describe which content we allow and don't on YouTube. Your video coronavirus leaked videos whistleblowers February 15th, 16th was flagged to us for review, right? Fortunately, they decided to just basically put it behind an 18 plus age restriction thing, rather than actually giving me a strike over it, right? But the simple fact is that there are people out there that are flagging my content when I release anything that maybe crossing what you would call the boundaries of decency. So if I was to play videos that showed these dead people and people lying on the floor and I would have more of this. Yes, there are so many videos out there. If you want to look, if you want to find it, you can find it. Now,
you can find it.
This is the reason I won't do it, because essentially, you know, I am going to get flagged by people that just can't handle this information. Now, some of those videos I did. There was some videos I didn't play. There was lots of videos that I didn't play that were far too graphic to actually show, and I actually thought I'd toned it down. But even toning it down, it was enough for some people to get so bent out of shape that they decided to flag the video. So that's what I'm dealing with here. So if you want to find this information, you have to do the digging yourself. The information is out there. The videos are out there. Now, I made a point of saying with Russian vids, for instance. Now, he's put a couple of videos out where, okay, he's seen clearly a couple of staged things. You saw one of them. I didn't see that one, I saw the other one.
I found one myself that clearly was staged.
And we understand that the staged. We understand, but the reasons for that are being overlooked. He's putting them down to being staged because there's nothing going on, and I'm saying that these are being staged because they're trying to reassure the general public in China to say, look how we're looking after people, look at the facilities you've got. But then that isn't the reality.
Yeah, look at us rushing these sick people through to get treatment. There's 4 doctors with 1 sick person.
Yep, exactly.
That's the way I look at it.
So unfortunately, I'm not going to be playing videos that are going to get me any kind of strike, but I'll try to give you some information from today. So about 7 hours ago, 6-7 hours ago, this from alarabia.net came out, and it was basically saying that they think that the death toll in Iran is much higher than the official death toll, and it's according to the Iranian MP Gholam Ali Jafarazadeh. Said on Friday. I butchered that word.
That's easy for you to say.
I butchered that. I'm sorry. I am so sorry for butchering that. But so the official death toll was 34, and the total number of confirmed cases was 388. Now this MP is speaking out and saying that's wrong. That's not true, right? So this is what we have from this particular site. Then I go on to just 3 hours ago from the BBC News. That's the UK BBC News. And it says the coronavirus, Iran's deaths at least 210 hospital sources say. Okay, so the official death toll is 34, but now we have another news agency, the BBC, reporting that the deaths there are at least 210. Now that's substantially more. That's 6 times more. That's 6 times more.
Have you got that little bit of paper saying about the Chinese Communist Party coming out and saying that they lied about the numbers?
Yeah, I've got a few bits and bobs on that. Yeah.
Cool.
So on this next, this is literally you guys can find this. You can actually find it. Cakes in Global, right, which is the basically the communist mouthpiece for the communist government in China. So they are put in place by the communists to essentially report the news that the communists want them to report. It's as simple as that. It's a communist state. So Cakes in Global is their mouthpiece. Now, Cakes in Global has a Twitter account, and obviously you guys can check all this. So from Cakes in Global, this says, from 11 hours ago, Chinese scientists found that the new coronavirus was similar to SARS in December. Authorities later ordered them to destroy their samples and not speak about it. Okay.
Wow.
Now, it has been called SARS-2 the coronavirus.
Yeah, I've heard that.
So they've actually renamed it SARS-2. So essentially it is a SARS-linked virus. Now, they had this information back in December, but they basically told everybody to shut up. They basically kept the people quiet about what actually was going on there.
Yeah, for sure.
The next one we have is, again, from Cakes in Global. So by the end of Wednesday, so this is what they say is this is the confirmed that China released. Now, I'm going to get to a different point of this in a minute. 78,000 cases, 2,700 deaths, 41% of the confirmed cases have recovered, right? Now, you think that this has been slowing down, if you believe their figures, astronomically over the past week or so. In fact, they had like 3 or 4 days with no cases. I mean, it must be like 7 or 8 days since these cases went up substantially. In any event, that would mean that whoever the remainder, 41% of the confirmed have recovered, and 19% of the patients are in a severe condition. Right now, I remember from reports back a month ago, once you go into this severe, It's basically, it really is death. It's pretty much death. You
Yeah, you're
know,
pretty. Yeah, they say. Yeah,
you're
that's what they're
pretty
saying. That
fucked.
if it goes that far, then yeah, you're fucked. Yeah.
Now, they just use the term severe. They just, it's a phrase. It's not critical, but you might as well term it critical because it's the same thing. And the amount
Yeah.
of the death rate is about this. I was reporting this about 5 weeks ago, saying that the death rate was about 18%. Here we have a report that 19% of the patients are still waiting, are still in a severe condition. Now, if this is true, that means that there's still 40% that 41% of the cases have recovered and 19 of the patients are in severe. That still leaves 40% that are not in any of those. Where are they? Where
Yeah.
have they
Where are
gone?
they?
What's happening to
Are they
them?
dead? Yeah. What?
Exactly. So I've got that one up there. So here we go. So the next one is this. So in Cakes in Global again, the mouthpiece of the Chinese government. So this is a question. How many more people are infected with the coronavirus? Question mark. Answer, at least tenfold more than we know about.
Yeah, tenfold more. This is the Chinese Communist Party mouthpiece telling you that it's 10 times more
At
people than
least.
what they said before.
Yeah,
10 times.
at least 10 times more. At least. Right? So if that's at
So,
least 10 times more and the confirmed cases is 78,000, that would mean that 750,000 are infected,
yeah, are infected. Yeah.
right? So that's dead easy to figure out. People can put this together, they can add up, they can multiply. 10 times 78 is 780,000. That is how many would be
Yeah.
infected at the least,
At the
right?
least, yeah.
At the least, right? Now, if that's how many are infected, and we have a 19% are in a severe condition, you think about
What
this.
Yeah, what got me was reports of people who hadn't had any contact with anyone from, China, no one that had travelled, and they're all of a sudden coming down with this. Now, it wouldn't surprise me one bit if this is a, normal sort of flu, like if they want to call it coronavirus, whatever, SARS thing, but that it has an activator that they can then target the people they want to target to make the virus actually become deadly. What to me it seems like a really easy way to get rid of the people you need to get rid of without really harming the rest of the population, because most of us get over the flu, even the really bad ones where you're in bed for 2 weeks. As long as you're healthy, you don't have any other, issues, you're pretty much guaranteed to get over it, aren't you?
Yep.
So, it would make sense to me if it has been created, if it is a biological weapon, then it makes sense that they would have some kind of activation, maybe 5G. Wuhan has 5G, so
Yep.
I don't believe what they tell us, and what they were telling us is that nothing's happening. So something's happening, And now, if that many people have died, people are going to start rioting. They're going to start, all their friends and family have died, so they're locked up in their houses. They're going to start trying to escape, and but this way, if they let out a little bit of information and say, okay, we lied about the numbers, it's a bit worse than what we told you, that might calm the population down. That'll get the population saying, oh, well, at least they're telling the truth now, and it gives them a little bit more time.
I just want to also say, I mean, the trouble with flat earthers, myself included, is that we don't want to be duped. We don't want to feel stupid for believing something until we actually see it. And I've always been of that sort of mindset too. I mean, when they started talking about the measles virus in America and Ebola and
Yes.
swine flu and all those previous ones that went in the past, you won't see, you will never see or hear of me ever speaking about these ever on any stream in the whole history that I've been
Yeah,
doing
because it was
this, right?
pretty obvious it was nowhere near as bad. Those,
But I don't know,
we
because
didn't have
even,
shutdowns like this.
well, even when I first started speaking about this 5 weeks ago, it wasn't being reported in the mainstream media, and I made a point many times of saying this is not. You will not find this in the mainstream media. What I'm telling you is not in the mainstream. It's not there. You won't find it. And people were saying, "You're insane. You don't know what you're talking
Yeah, you're
about.
crazy.
You're
Yeah, it's
crazy.
just a
All this kind of
hoax.
stuff." Yeah, and I wanted it to be that case, but do you know what?
Of
This felt
course.
different to me. This felt different. For
Yeah.
whatever reason, it just feels different. There's something about this that just didn't ring true. And when you started seeing the videos from China, the people, the lockdowns, the stuff like this, you just knew it was
Yeah,
going
people
down.
hanging themselves in the street.
It's going
Like,
down. And, you
yeah,
can choose to stick
something's
your
going
head in
down.
the sand and forget it, it's not real, it's not real. You can do it that way. That's sure that'll get you by. And here's one thing I would like to say as well, is that if you're an auto hoaxer, you can be right 99% of the time. And, generally, in the past, it's served you well being an auto hoaxer.
Yeah, you come
You
out
know,
smelling like roses.
yep. Auto hoax this, auto hoax that. 9/11, 7/7, the shootings, all the different shootings that have gone on, all the different viruses in the past. Yeah, you've been right about every single one of these,
Every single one.
you
Yeah.
know, until the time that you're wrong. You can be right 99% of the time as an auto hoaxer, but there will become a time that you are wrong. It's deciding at what point, when is that the wrong one to choose to actually get it wrong, And
Yeah.
for me personally, and I'm not an auto hoaxer, I always check things out first. But this to me just smelt different. Everything about this was different. There
Yeah.
was something very
Was
real
different.
about this, yeah. And that's why I
It
started to
took
talk
me it
about
took
it.
me a good month, months, 5, 6 weeks before I started even considering that this might be more than what they were telling us. I pretty much auto hoaxed it at the beginning myself, and it wasn't until it just every day more and more things, more and more videos of dead people, the thermal imaging, the stuff that they tested in the air showing that things are being burnt, and then all the shutdowns and all this kind of stuff. It's like, how many things do I need to see before I go, well, I don't really want to be trying to go shopping when everybody else panics, because panicking people in large groups is not a good idea. Like, you want
Yeah.
to have made sure you've gone to the shop and done what you need to do before all those people, all the sheep will start panicking. You get all the lemmings running off the cliff.
Yeah.
You want to have been done and out of there before all those lemmings come along.
I have a lot of people in the chat that are, really against what I'm saying, but I put a community post out before, guys, and I actually said, if you don't like this, if you don't want me talking about this, you don't have to listen. You can stick your head in the
Yeah, you
sand
don't
and you
need
can
to
go
do
off and
it.
watch
Yeah,
something else.
absolutely.
If you want to go
Yeah,
and
it's
watch
your
Flat
life.
Earth stuff, Iron Realm Media are on right now. Go ahead and watch them. Disappear off my chat, piss off, and go and watch them, and then come back when I start talking Flat Earth in about 40 minutes' time when I start another show up. If you don't want to
Yeah,
listen to this,
exactly.
that's fine. But if you're just going to be
Yeah,
in
we're
the
not
chat,
forcing
just saying,
anybody.
if you're just going to be in the chat saying, this is wrong, 33, this is wrong, auto hoax, 33, with no fucking proof, right? I could go on here right now and I could bring up 100 videos, 1,000 videos of people actually in China showing you dead and deceased people lying everywhere. I could do that if I wanted to, but I'll get a community strike. You can do it if you go and find it, if you want to actually look into it. Instead of just running your mouths in the chat, go the hell and find out yourselves. If not, piss off and go and watch somewhere else, right? I'm
Yeah,
doing this.
well
I'm
said.
not doing this for money because this doesn't make money. And Sleeping Warrior going around behind my back telling people left, right, and centre that the only reason I'm talking about this fear-mongering bullshit is to actually make fucking super chats. Do you know, I've not had a single super chat when I've talked about this fucking coronavirus, and I don't expect it to. And I don't want people to fucking give me a super chat for this because
Yeah,
this is
no,
more
keep the money
important.
to get
And I don't give a
preparations
shit.
for
I'm
yourself.
a truther here, and I'm doing this for you guys. And if you don't like it, fuck off. Go somewhere
Yep.
else. Right, I'm
And
moving
George
on. I'm moving
Sanford,
on.
yes, thousands of videos of dead people.
I'm moving on.
Absolutely.
Right,
Hours and hours of it.
right, I'm moving on. So, from Bill Gates, we all know how much we hate Bill Gates, and Bill Gates is, he's a twat. In any event,
Yes.
he says that coronavirus is a once in a century pathogen. That's very interesting that he actually
Oh,
put
that's
this out
interesting
today.
that he would say that.
Mm-hmm. Next on the agenda, oh, this is great. I'm going to have to share this with sound with you, Trish. So here we go. You can listen to this. So put the
Paige, not Trish.
sorry.
You are,
So
you
sorry.
are aren't you, Ranty, you poor bugger.
I'm hyped up. I'm
Yeah,
hyped up.
emotional.
This is
Yeah,
emotional
of
for me
course.
because I feel
It is for me too.
I just feel passionate about this, and people just not getting it, and that's
Yeah,
fine. You know,
infuriating.
it's their fucking funeral. Right, here we go.
I think as time goes forward.
Oh, let me give you a little bit of history with this, right? So this guy has gone through a quarantine. So this guy and his daughter have gone through the quarantine. They're actually on Fox News right now, and they're going to be talking. It's only 48 seconds or so. So here's the guy that's gone through quarantine. Here's his daughter. They're perfectly fine. Here we go.
Hopefully, doctors and scientists will get a better handle on the whole situation. Fortunately, from what I
Oh, come on. Don't freeze on me.
understand, it is contagious, but the death rate is pretty low. So, yeah, I understand the fear.
Yeah, well, we can see you still have a cough. What do the doctors say about your own condition moving forward as we wrap this up?
Excuse me. Let me get some of that. They said, yeah, I'm fine. I got tested twice,
Oh my God.
negative both times. The cough, probably just nerves.
Yeah.
The cough is probably just nerves, right? So
He just drank out of that bottle and gave it straight back to his daughter.
Yep, and he coughed 3 times. Then he couldn't get his words out. He had to take a drink from his daughter's bottle and then handed it back to her. So he's been through the quarantine issue. He's been tested twice. He has this cough, but he hasn't got a coronavirus. No. He just has a cough where he can't even speak when he's on telly. I mean, that isn't.
Bloody hell.
It's like, okay, we know that these tests don't work.
That. Yeah, some of them don't. Yeah, a lot of them don't work. They were missing 50% of the cases or something. And if this is a virus that can be activated by something after you get it, and you just get the flu for now, then yeah, he might not be dying, but he's going to pass on. The Iranian health minister was sick and was on TV. The Pope on the Ash Wednesday service was coughing and is now at home saying he's sick, and he was kissing babies and shaking hands and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, I've had a couple of super chats actually. So,
yes, you did.
From Neo the One, thanks for this, Ranty. Thank you very much for the super chat. Pat Wright again, carry on. Lots of clapping. And from Captain Will, I will support a spicy Ranty flat earth. Thank you very much. Spicy, I would just say
awesome, guys.
Say frustrated, really, frustrated and disappointed.
I'm getting a bit that way. It's like we pointed out with that video, the hoax the other day, the cameraman was wearing a mask.
Yeah.
What? It's not that this is what they're saying it is. It's that as soon as things start to go downhill near you, the supermarket shelves will be empty, and people will be panicking regardless of whether it's true or not.
Yeah. And I just want to
Now,
make a
that's
point.
not going to make any difference.
So we have.
And do you want to be caught up with them when they're trying to get their food for their kids and what have you?
So Ranty's brain is missing. Obviously, some guy, just a random account there. Ranty's brain is missing. Says we are all going to die. Believe in Ranty. That isn't what I'm doing here. This isn't. This isn't
ridiculous.
A fear-mongering. This isn't fear-mongering issue. This is letting you guys know what's going on, to take your heads away from the suspicion that everything's a hoax at all times. Do a little bit of research for yourself, and if you find what I'm showing you is credible, and if you believe in me, in my research skills, what I've gone through, I mean, that's why you subscribe to me. Come on, guys. I mean, ultimately, you know, you've subscribed to me for a reason, for flat earth stuff. You know that I do my research. I'm not going to be jeopardizing my channel here and being a complete Burke by telling you something that I don't believe in. Right? So if I believe in it and you support me and you actually are a subscriber, why don't you just go and do a little bit of research for yourself and dig around for yourself and find out for yourself? This is what I'm doing. I'm trying to educate you as to what's going on so that you can prepare. It's nothing to do with we're all going to die. Nobody has to die here. You just need to prepare.
Not about that.
And it's nothing to do, and it's not all about the virus. This is something that is also getting confused here. You seem to be focusing on this idea, sorry, the people in chat need to be focusing on this idea that I'm talking to them like they're all going to die of this virus. I'm just letting you know that the virus is more virulent, what they said. It has a higher death rate than what it says. A lot of this is being covered up. However, you've got to watch what's going on in the world too. Where is your country getting its supplies from? Where's it getting its medication from? Where's it getting its food from? All this stuff. Do your research, find out, and then think to yourself, okay, well, what's happening in, let's suppose you get your food from Greece. Okay, so what's happening in Greece? Well, Greece have, they closed off the borders. They're not allowing any food or transport to go in and out. How's that going to affect me if I get my food from Greece? You know, how is this going to affect me?
Sustained.
Yeah.
If that keeps going on for any length of time, you know, how will that affect your life? It's not about fear. It's not about being in a panic, and it's not all about the virus. It's about being able to see the big picture.
To just look at the picture and say, how is this going to affect me, regardless of whether I get ill? Regardless of whether I get ill. This is what I've been saying for the past month, and you can go back on the streams and you'll see that I've said this. This is nothing to do with just talking about the virus. It's the impact it's going to have on you and the shutdowns that will happen, the quarantining that will happen, the martial laws that they'll try to implement and will implement. The fact that people are going to be running out of food, medication, things like this. Are you stocked up? Are you prepared? Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this for your family? You know, this isn't about all to do with the actual virus. The virus may come and may pass you by. The virus may not even be real. Okay, let's go down that route and say that it's not even real. Let's say there's no virus, right? There's no virus at all. Nobody's dying. But you know what? They're shutting off 10% of the world's population already from getting food and travelling. They're also,
for nothing.
They're also shutting down all the borders, all the flights. They're also putting quarantine measures in country after country after country after country. There is something going down here.
Our Prime Minister's come out calling it a pandemic.
So,
you need to... The World Health Organization won't, but he has.
So you need to think, how is this going to affect me personally? Regardless of whether there's a crisis or not. Because if you're just auto-hoaxing 33, auto-hoax 33, you're not preparing, are you? You're not preparing.
Yes, Amanda, better safe than sorry. Absolutely, darling. That's exactly what we're trying to say. Better safe than sorry.
Exactly. Amanda Young, thank you for the super chat too. This will really wind Anthony Riley up as well, Sleeping Warrior, because he's been going around.
I can't believe he said that you were doing this for super chats.
I haven't had a super chat apart from on this stream.
Not talked about this.
Yeah,
you lost subscribers, didn't you?
I lost subscribers. I've lost my friends in the community. 95% of the flat Earth channels out there don't talk about this or just think I'm wrong. 85% of my subscribers think I'm wrong. oh yeah, I'm doing this for what? And Anthony's going around behind my back talking about this, saying that I'm doing this for subscribers, super chats, and fame.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, right, okay. So
Right.
I'm doing 15-hour stream. I've done about 15, 16 hours on this subject, right, over about 6 different streams. I also had a gentleman come round to my house and sit at my PC and record his video, right, and then go around about and edit it for him and put it all together and release it the following day. And I've done all this, and I've not got a single super chat, and I've just lost subscribers. And I'm doing this for fame and fortune. Yeah, okay. Nothing of the sort. Nothing of the sort. I know this damages my reputation. I know this damages my reputation in the short term here and now, and I'm not interested in what my reputation is like in 6 months' time. I don't give a shit, because ultimately all I want is for people to prepare, because I know I know what's coming down, and who knows, will we even have internet in 6 months? I don't know. What does it even matter about your channel? It doesn't. But everyone listening now will know how passionate I've been about this. Will know that if they have the slightest inkling that I may be correct, they'll go out and they'll put some extra food in the shopping trolley, and they'll get some extra water in and some medication, and they'll start to prepare, and then they'll see the more reports are coming out, and then they'll see that they have a friend contact them suddenly and say,
exactly.
oh, my city's been shut down. I'm locked in.
I'm sick.
And then it becomes personal. Then it becomes personal, right? Then it becomes real to them because they know somebody. Right? Until a lot of people right now, until you actually drop down in front of you, they won't believe there's an illness. Until they see that the city's closed down, they won't believe they can't leave the house and go down to the shop. But it will fucking happen.
You've got the lemmings, you've got the panicking sheeple. Like, don't want to wait until that happens. That's the worst thing you can do, is wait for that to happen. And even if this is just a flu, like say this is no more deadly than a normal flu that we get. What they're saying is that it's more contagious. That's what they're worried about, is that it's so contagious that how big's the world now? What's the population? 8 billion or something? So 80% of them get the flu, and then 3% of that die from it. That's a huge number of people dying, and in a short amount of time. So even if it was only 1%, it's a huge amount of people. And then you've got all the people that, may not be dying, but are too sick to go to work and too sick to, drive the trucks to bring you your food and all that kind of stuff. I think that's why the countries outside of China, like Australia, why our Prime Minister is starting to say, you need to prepare, and people in America are starting to say you need to prepare, because I think they realise that no matter how deadly it is, it's so contagious that even just having the flu for a couple of weeks is going to affect everybody's economy and the ability to get things from one place to another.
Need to shout out to War Machine 05450 who give a super chat. Thanks for spreading the truth, Ranty. We appreciate it. Thank you very much for giving me a super chat. Thank you. Listen, I want to talk about this case that's actually in Northern California. So I'm going to read this couple of paragraphs here. So while the president was telling everyone that in his administration had the situation under control and there is nothing to worry about, health officials and hospital personnel in Northern California were identifying someone who had contracted the virus and who they believe had not been in contact with anyone else who has it. That's really important. That's who I was talking about, yeah. That's really important. And while this has yet to be confirmed as of this writing, the patient, we are told, was not tested for 11 days, and that was according to protocols issued by the Centers for Diseases, the CDC. As noted by the reporter, a Solano County woman now critically ill with coronavirus was hospitalized for 11 days before her infection was revealed to healthcare workers, raising the potential of a broader community exposure to the dangerous respiratory disease. Now, what's interesting is that she had no actual contact with going to any of the places that have this disease, which means that somebody else must have infected her, which means that there's somebody else running around giving this out, because she had no no contact at all with China or Wuhan or anything, Iran, none of that. She was just minding her own business, but she had the flu, and which turned out to be coronavirus. So this was for 11 days. So how long have people been?
How many people
wandering around California with this, infecting other people? I have it on good authority that there's over 1,000 people right now in the US with it. Over 1,000 people with it in the US.
And that's what makes me
what's
think,
going to happen now is I'm going to get probably 20 people saying, "Where's your proof, Ronnie? Where can you prove that? This is all bullshit. This is fake news. I don't believe what you're saying. This isn't true." Yeah, well, I'll tell you something else. Well, from 5 weeks ago till now, every time I've done a stream and updated you guys with stuff and told you stuff that was not in the mainstream media, it has turned out to be absolutely correct. Every single thing that I've said, right? Now, I'm not just saying this to try and scare you guys. I'm just saying it because you need to know that if they wanted some kind of Agenda 21 to happen, or Agenda 30, whatever it is that they're doing now, and you guys are all fully aware of this, right? You know Agenda 30, you know Agenda 21, you know it, and you've been talking about it. Oh, yeah, they need to do the depopulation, Everyone's on board with that. Everyone is on board with it. Which means that they're going to wipe out 90% of the human population by 2030, yeah? It was 2021.
Yeah, so they've got 10 years.
So how are they going to do that?
They have to start sometime.
It's got to start sometime. What do you think they're just going to postpone it till? Well, let's say December 2029. Because that's when Agenda 30 is going to happen. Yeah. But we can talk about it until then because that's not a problem. Yeah, we can just say that it's Agenda 30. We know it's going to happen, but they want to get rid of most of us. But they're going to leave it to the last minute, guys. So no sweat. Stick our heads in the sand and count to 33. Yeah, because that's what we're going to do. 33! Yeah. Okay. Well, no, it doesn't work like that, people. There's a reason why these people have been allowed to travel from the location where this actually started, the epicenter, right? There's a reason why the the WHO, are not actually saying that this is a pandemic, because once it goes into pandemic, then the wheels start turning and all the nations then have to start acting. But the longer they keep it away from a pandemic,
as long as they keep it down,
absolutely 100% a pandemic right now. It was a pandemic 2-3 weeks ago, right? Yeah. And they are refusing. They're refusing to call it a pandemic because that will literally just set a chain reaction off where everything literally shuts down. But it wouldn't surprise me, and I'm going to make a prediction now. So I'm either going to be a complete buffoon for doing this, and I shouldn't really do this because I have no information from anywhere that would suggest this. But it wouldn't surprise me if, judging by the way the stock markets have gone this week, over this weekend, if the WHO release a statement saying that they now do it as a pandemic, perhaps on Saturday, so that on Sunday it gives people time to reflect, and when the markets open on Monday, you won't have this massive, humongous sell-off, right? That's so this is completely off the top of my head. If I was going to be the WHO and I was going to be working for these bankers and what have you, seeing the way the stock markets have gone, they're probably going to do it as late as possible. And one thing I would say as well is because it's reached every continent bar Antarctica right now, it's very likely that it's so far out of control that they can actually do it a pandemic. But there's a reason why they left it so late, so that people could go ahead and spread it everywhere. Yeah?
Yeah.
Once it's gone, once it's spread, they can't stop it. They should have called it a pandemic weeks ago, but they didn't.
Yeah, but they didn't. That video that you passed along to me, that whistleblower guy, was it David Ellis or something his name was, where he was saying that for the last 40 years he's been following the Zionist agenda, and he was saying how they have specifically made YouTube channels that are 100% truthful. They will give you, all the truth you want about flat earth or vaccines or, whatever. And as soon as you start liking and commenting and subscribing to these channels, they tag you, track you, identify you, follow you, put you on their little lists. And if this is the beginning of their depopulation, who are the first people they're going to want to get rid of? They're going to want to get rid of the people who are awake, who understand what these people are trying to do, what their agenda is. So, spreading a flu that doesn't kill everybody, it's just a normal flu, but it has some kind of something in it that can be triggered by 5G, whatever, then they can actually target the people that they've tagged and tracked and kept an eye on. And once those people are gone, then they just give the sheeple a little story in the mainstream media because those people believe anything they're told from the mainstream media.
Yeah. And the thing, listen, I'm a grassroots truther. I started off this years ago, 10 years ago maybe, doing chemtrail videos. I did like 400 videos or something, and spent about 4 years maybe trying to grow the channel before I actually found flat Earth. A long time, maybe even longer than that, maybe 5 years I was doing this, and I was really into that. And I didn't even want to go into flat Earth. I didn't expect to be in this situation where I have 5,000 subscribers and I'm trying to say to them, look, I think it's the time that you actually just start to actually just lower those guards for just a second and just take those blinkers off and say, this is real. This is happening, right? And that's all I'm saying. There comes a time that you have to, judge, sort of like test yourself. And this is a test for people that actually do the real research. This is a proper test, and it's true what I'm showing you. I'm not bullshitting you with this. This is going down, people. I said to you 2 weeks ago, this is what was going to happen. 3 weeks ago, talked about the quarantines that were going to happen worldwide. Talked about the stock market crashing. Talked about getting yourself prepared. I knew it was all coming, and it's all panning out. But you guys all just mocked me.
There's a message here from Pete Shea saying, "What is this type of fear tactics page?"
It's not fear.
And specifically to you, Pete, you're always saying about the actors and agents put in place, and I'm saying, yeah, I agree with you. And, that is a great way to track people like you and me and Ranty and anybody else who has started to wake up and started to realise what's going on behind the scenes. They understand the trans agenda, they understand the vaccines. All of these things point to these people wanting to get rid of us. Now, it's got nothing to do with fear, because the more knowledge you have and the more prepared you are, the less fearful you're going to be. Fear comes when you stick your head in the sand, you don't prepare, and then all of a sudden something does happen and you're running around like a chicken with your head cut off because you did nothing to prepare. It's got nothing to do with fear. This is about empowerment. Empower yourself. Stop being reliant on the government. Stop being reliant on the supermarkets. And even if nothing happens, even if everything goes back to normal in a couple of weeks, great. Well, then keep growing your veggie garden. Keep having your prepper stock filled up,
I've got your image on the screen that you sent me before, Paige.
Oh, yes.
So you've been prepping?
That's my laundry. Yeah, they're my shelves in my laundry. So it's only about half of what I've actually got. But there's everything in here, from cat bickies and dog bickies to boxes of 2-minute noodles, sugar, semolina, porridge, cordial, pasta, tea bags, things of coffee, Milo, seasonings, so if all you've got left is rice, you can put a bit of flavour in it, bags of flour, tins of soup, things in vacuum packed. I've got a vacuum sealer that I use for vacuum sealing things, which is really handy. It keeps them for heaps longer. And then I've got, a couple of things of laundry detergent, a couple of things of toilet paper, a couple of things of shampoo, wipes, disinfectant wipes, and every single thing in that picture I'll be able to use, down the track if it doesn't get used through this situation.
Yeah.
I cannot see the fear in doing that. I have absolutely no fear because I'm prepared. I can go to bed. I've been going to bed and sleeping like an absolute baby because I know I can look after myself. I know I can look after my family. I've got a garden growing out the back. My mum's got a garden growing. My brother's got a garden growing. My brother's teaching himself and his friends how to hunt. We go fishing. That is empowerment. That is the opposite of fear. People who want to keep saying we are fear-mongering, I'm sorry, but I am so fucking sick of you, because it's literally the opposite of what I'm doing. You will be fearful when you've got no food. I'm going to be sitting here in my house fed and happy and not a problem. So, where is the fear coming from? From me preparing? That's what I want to know.
So I'm showing the FTSE 100 index. So if I go for the last 5 days and I look at where it started, so it started at 7,403, and by the 5 days later it's closed at 6,565. So it's lost. That's got to be close to 14%, something like that.
Sorry, how much?
I'd say it's around about 14% from a quick bit of mathematics. That's quite a lot for the FTSE to lose. Let's have a look at the Dow Jones. This is Dow Jones, the 5 days. So that started at 28,402 and it's ended up at 25,196. 28,4, 25,132. Yeah, that's lost more than 10% too, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's lost about 12% too. So, yeah, when I was saying to you guys, listen, you got to watch the stock markets, that'll be an indication of what's going on. And sure as eggs were eggs, they are fell out of them this week, yep.
Well, and Pete's going on again about the population wipeout, the 5G attack. That's the fear he was referring to. Well, haven't we all been talking about the Georgia Guidestones and how, even before any of this virus shit came up, we were already discussing population reduction, how 5G kills people, how it's going to be like living in a microwave, all this kind of shit. So why all of a sudden, when I'm saying, that just so that you can wrap your head around how this might be possible, how they might be able to target certain groups of people without affecting other groups of people, I'm still not saying that's exactly what's happening. I don't know. But you are going to be more fearful if you don't think about it and don't prepare for anything. I just don't see the point in sticking your head in the sand. If they're gonna hit you with 5G and kill you, well, they're gonna fucking do it, aren't they? So what? What are you gonna do? Yes, it's like, my God, what?
Well,
if you want to go and live in the middle of nowhere, no problem.
Listen,
well, I've moved out into the country. I don't live anywhere near 5G. And fuck off, Fuzzy Curve. Like, really? Get a life, mate.
Right, so we're all flat earthers here, the majority of, I would say, the people that are going to listen back to this stream. Generally, after a stream like this, I end up getting 1,500 views or 2,000 views, which is going to be pretty cool. and people will get to see this on the re-upload, and they'll get to watch it over the next week or so, which is pretty good. I just want to make absolutely sure that this is exactly what I'm saying, which is that I'm not fear-mongering and I'm not scaremongering here. I'm just letting you guys know what is going on, how it's panned out. You've got to see it's like a jigsaw puzzle, and you've got to put the pieces together, and you've got to be able to see the bigger picture. And I was seeing the bigger picture 5 weeks ago. I was trying to tell you this, and I was seeing the bigger picture. I was seeing the domino effect, that this would have, and the more that this got out of control, the bigger the domino effect would be. Regardless of whether you actually think there's an illness or not, or a virus out there, regardless of that, there is still the logistical stuff that's going on. How are you going to get your food?
Musicians for Truth has got it. The point isn't just the virus. When supply chains break and masses panic, you don't want to be scrambling for food. Now, he's got it 100%. Well done. That's what we're talking about. You don't want to be stuck in that squish. And look at those Black Friday sales where all those people are mashed together trying to grab things because they're on sale. Imagine if they're starving. Imagine that they're not TVs, they're food, and these people are starving and their children are starving because nothing's been delivered. It doesn't matter that they're not sick. It doesn't matter that, they aren't in hospital with the flu. They can't get any bloody food. That's what's going to be the most concerning. Not particularly the virus, because most people, the people that are young and healthy, it's no worse than the flu. So it's not about worrying about the virus.
We have Cowabunga Joe that puts in the chat. He says, "Prove it with timestamps." Well, actually,
timestamps from what?
Actually, I have I've made a video addressing that point. Actually, so it's 20 minutes long, so I'm not going to play it on this. But I have actually made a video. And it goes through the times that I've talked about the virus. In fact, I was talking about it before the 31st. I mean, I need to re-edit this video, but I've claimed that the first time I discussed the virus, the 31st of the 1st, 2020. So that was 4 weeks ago, right? The first time that I apparently talked about it. Then I play a little bit of a clip. I'm going to just scroll through. Then I move on to the next time I'll have talked about it. There'll be another pop-up. There we go. So here we go. So then the 13th of the 2nd,
he has at least a month of food. That's perfect.
There you go.
Always.
Then there was the Illuminati report, 12th of the 2nd, 2020. Then there was the 13th of the 2nd, 2020 that I talked about it again. You get the idea. I basically go through the times that I've talked about it on different streams and just quote some of the things that I actually said. So with you actually putting that out there, prove it with timestamps, I might just redo this video and just put it out from the very first time I started speaking about it and blow it up your ass. How would that do?
You know what might be a good idea, Ranty?
Yeah.
In the description for this video, maybe just put half a dozen or a dozen names of channels that you and I have been looking at, that we've gotten this information from, so people can go and look at those channels for themselves and see. Like Vrillex, he's one channel that's done heaps of stuff on the virus. So everything that you and I have seen is available for other people to find. If you don't want to do your due diligence and go and look, well, it's your life, it's your funeral, not mine. So,
Anyway, on a lighter note, I'm going to round this up, and I'm going to do a flat Earth chit chat, and that's going to start in around about 10 minutes, I would say. So, I'm just going to round this one up. It's something I wanted to talk about. I wanted to discuss it. I have a feeling that I just need to talk about this. I don't know why. It just feels different. I want to sort of like say to you guys to prepare. This isn't trying to be fear-mongering. I'm not trying to be a twat here. I'm not trying to wind anybody up or feed them information that they couldn't find for themselves. I'm just trying to do the work that probably a lot of people are reluctant to do because they just auto think in their head that this isn't real. So listen,
The
I believe in
one,
it. You subscribe to
go
me.
ahead.
You subscribe to me for a reason, and if you've subscribed to me for a reason, I would hope that if you think that I'm as passionate about this for a reason, you might want to just look into it for yourself. That's the only thing I will say. So I'm going to round this up, and I'm going to start.
Hang on, before you do,
Go
Ranty.
ahead.
Before you do, the last thing that I'll say about this is there's a video that's just under half an hour called David Elias Elias Goldberg's Final Words, and it's on the channel called 100 coin. So 100 coin. So the numbers 100 coin, and it's just a half-hour video talking about this guy's contacts, what he's found out from the last 40 years of his research, and how what's happening now was in these plans a long time ago. He's known something like this was coming for a long time. So it might just be just half an hour out of your lives, just go and have a look at it. It might just give you a better way of thinking about things.
I've put that link in the chat, so if anybody wants to go and watch that half an hour, that 30-minute video, you can hear his last words before he quote unquote died.
Yeah, this is a man that was murdered.
He was done in basically a couple of months afterwards. He had the inside information. This was his last talk, so.
He also came out saying a couple of years before it happened, he was saying Trump's going to come out declaring himself the king of Israel. He's going, this is not a strategic move. For some reason, he just has to do it to show his allegiance or whatever. And what did Trump do? He came out publicly saying, I'm the king of Israel.
Well, they elected him the king of Israel, didn't they, basically? So it was the same sort of thing.
Basically, yeah.
So, definitely an interesting video. If you get a time to watch it.
Very interesting video.
Put a link in the chat. In any event, I'm going to round up now, and I'll be restarting in 10 minutes' time. So what time are we now? So it's 5 past, so at 1:15, 10 more minutes. We'll be doing a Flat Earth chit-chat. Anybody wants on Flat Earth, we're going to do an open panel. There'll be no talking about the coronavirus. And, we'll just get back to doing a bit of Flat Earth. In the meantime, this was...
a bit of lightheartedness.
This was a broadcast for the health of my audience, and I mean that genuinely. This really was.
Absolutely.
And with that, and with that, I'll see.
Good night, everybody. We'll see you in the next stream.
See you in 10 minutes.